AITA for reporting my wife after she used me for a green card and cheated on me. I am a 33-year-old man. I married my wife, Brooke, 28, in March. In April, I filed the marriage-based AOS package for the combo card. I exported the events from our shared calendar and laid them next to mine. Overlaps marked WFH lined up with meeting with K across town. It was not definitive proof, more like a schedule with two versions of the truth. I filed it away as a pattern because intuition does not hold up in arbitration. Biometrics in May, combo card in July. Interview scheduled for December 2nd, 8:15 a.m. San Antonio. Courthouse day was a lunch break with a certificate. The witness was a clerk who spelled my middle name right without asking. Someone who processes 10 marriages before noon has seen it all. He slid the pen to me like he was handing over a manual. No champagne, just instructions. I signed where the sticky notes pointed. She joked that my signature looked like a Wi-Fi password. The judge said congratulations with the emotional range of an oatmeal cookie. We took selfies in the parking lot because the light inside made us look like suspects. I left a tip like I was buying karma. Background. We met in 2020 when she was on an F1 visa entering OPT. It was quiet stability, not a romantic comedy. We moved in together, split expenses, and treated the living room like a cheap gym. I work in data, which is a fancy way of saying I stare at chaos until it confesses. She worked in product at a mid-size Series A company, always gearing up for a Series C, which is basically a startup running on vibes. Our apartment had the personality of a functional Excel sheet, color-coded, a little sad, but it always balanced. The biggest drama was deciding if the kettlebell went by the couch or the balcony door. Early in 2024, a merger eliminated her position. OPT has a clock. We both knew the stakes. If you have never done immigration math, it is like defusing a bomb with instructions in legalese. Every month carries weight. Losing your job makes the day of the week scream in the background of your life. The merger did not fire her. It dissolved her like sugar in coffee and then told her to enjoy the taste. We were already talking about marriage, not with Candleland String Quartet energy. More like, we are a team, we want a future, and immigration is a maze. Courthouse in March. I wore a suit. She wore white heels, a romantic, debatable, and strategically extreme choice. She pushed the timeline. Babe. March, courthouse. No fuss. Me. So fast. Babe. The clock is not our friend. Pick a date. Me. You want vows or a receipt? Her. Both. Me. I will book it. You show up. And I put it on the calendar. She sent the appointment link, and we signed where the sticky notes pointed. Everyone imagines a montage. Ours was a PowerPoint slide with our names, bullet points for a joint lease and shared bank account, and a closing slide about not playing chicken with the calendar. Practical is not heartless. It just knows rent is due on the 1st. On the fridge calendar, we were a Hallmark story with health insurance. Up close, there were cracks, but they seemed like small things. Like I forgot to add you to the RSVP. Her cousin's invitation clearly had 2 spots. We RSVP'd for one because of the seating chart. Why just you? I asked, phone in hand. It is a small venue, she said without looking up. My aunt is panicking about chairs. Your cousin literally wrote, cannot wait to see you both. She sent that to everyone. It is a template. Your name is spelled correctly. She copied it from my contacts. Relax, I will fix it later. Later arrived with the same energy as a vending machine refund. Then came the receipts that never existed. Can you forward the Uber and dinner receipts? I am balancing the budget. The app glitched and did not send them, she said, tapping her screen like it owed her rent. I will send you a screenshot tonight. Okay. What card did you use? The company card. Long pause. Well, technically mine. I will sort it out. The next day, nothing. A week later, nothing. When I asked again, she pulled the trifecta. I will explain later. The receipt did not come through right. And why are you getting so intense about small things? Because small things break axles. Labor Day weekend. She is in the shower. Her MacBook is open on the table. I do not snoop. I live on timestamps. Our shared calendar shows MAD blocked out for 2 weeks in October. No label, no note. What is MAD? I ask flatly. Work. The company that eliminated your position is having an in-person EMEA event. She shouts over the water. They sometimes invite alumni. Networking. 2 weeks. Global teams, jet lag. You would not get it. Networking usually does not require 2 select seats in row 11. The water shuts off. She comes out, towel wrapped. Performance included. It is not booked. Just a placeholder. What calendar does a 2-week placeholder with no label? Mad. It is Madison. I might go to Madison. Then why is your bookmark bar full of best rooftops in Madrid? She blinks. Research. For Wisconsin. Do not be dramatic. I filed it as a pattern and kept my voice neutral. Someone planning an exit always wants you to yell so they can blame the volume. I stayed quiet and let her own calendar testify. Shared calendars are marital polygraphs. If you block out Mad for 2 weeks, it should be a festival or a confession. Instead, it was an all-caps airport code with middle seat energy. The data brain kicks in. MA can be MA in Max or Madrid. When we moved in together, she would get Venmos for consulting from someone I did not know. I assumed UX freelance. Then I found out it was Gavin funding their Spotify family plan. It is cute how the playlist algorithm knew more about my marriage than I did. Full itinerary. Austin, Miami, Madrid. The confirmation number led to an airline profile that was not ours. The receipt's email domain failed the autoforward and landed in promotions. Promotions has a sense of humor. 2 weeks booked at 1:37 a.m. PDFs, seat maps. A list of restaurants that hate budgets. Not our card. Then the line that makes my scalp tighten. Reservation for Brooke. Purchased by Gavin. The seat choices tell the story corporate PR will not. 11A and 11C. People who are just friends do not pick seats like a couple choosing flanks at a steakhouse. I checked the fare class like I was reading tea leaves. It spelled out romance on points. Gavin, a friend from her home country, she mentioned once in 2021. Me. How do you know Gavin? Brooke, same university back home. We met the first week in a group project. Me. So, classmates first. Brooke, yeah. Then student events. He would DJ. I would help with flyers and sign-ups. Me. Same circle of friends. Brooke, sort of. Late night study sessions, cheap sandwiches, campus stuff. Me. And now he is in Europe doing marketing? Brooke, yep. We still send each other music links sometimes. That is it. Me, okay. Logged. Past the Allen wrench. I remembered Gavin as a guy whose entire identity was cologne and a playlist, the kind who says strategy but means vibes. He lived in a time zone where consequences arrived 6 hours late. Her WhatsApp backup was on iCloud with the subtlety of confetti. I did not force any passwords. The preview pane showed countdowns, sunset rooftops, heart emojis, and a gym selfie from him with a text in his native language. Countdown. And her reply with the blushing tomato emoji. The previews hurt, but legally, it is like hearing someone yell surprise outside your door. You are not eavesdropping, they are just being loud. I did not need to go into the messages. The edges showed enough of the picture. She comes out, wrapped in a towel. I am calm with the calmness of a spreadsheet. What is Mad in October? Work. The company that just eliminated your position is having an in-person EMEA event. They invite alumni. Networking. Okay. And does networking usually involve Gavin buying your ticket? The silence drops like a manhole cover. She does the theatrical clutch of the towel she is already wearing. The performance where you pretend modesty blocks bullets. I keep my tone flat. When people expect you to explode, calm feels like a trap. I documented everything. Itineraries, receipts, WhatsApp previews, a photo of the calendar. I emailed the package to myself with tax-style subject lines. Then I went for a walk so the coffee mug would not meet the drywall. Subject, Evidence 001 Mad. Then, Evidence 002, WhatsApp previews. I numbered everything like I was building a case against a ghost. My phone was buzzing with its own future testimony. The trick is to act like you are already on the stand, and your only goal is not to look like a fool. That night, she is rethinking the trip. I am rethinking a lot of things. I sleep on the couch. She does not argue. Sleeping on the couch feels different when your bed is technically available but spiritually condemned. I stared at the ceiling fan and started writing the plan in my head. Step 1. Stop being surprised. Step 2. Find the off switch. On Monday, I had a consultation with Ms. Marlowe, an immigration lawyer a friend recommended. I brought a folder as thick as a doorstop. Receipts and 797 CS, I-130/I, 485, I-864. Biometrics notice. Copy of EAD/AP. Interview letter. Plus, screenshots of Mad and Gavin. Ms. Marlowe's waiting room was the opposite of Instagram. Stacked volumes of the CFR, a plant that looked like it had passed the bar exam, and a sign that read, "We do not accept walk-ins or drama. Appointments only." I put the folder down like a brick. She did not blink. Lawyers respect paper the way chefs respect knives. She skipped the feelings and asked for dates. Married in March, filed in April. Biometrics May 13th, code 3. EAD/AP arrived July 9th. Interview notice September 3rd for December 2nd, 8:15 a.m. Evidence. Joint lease, joint bank account, bills, photos, travel, affidavits. She reviewed the dates like a mechanic listening to an engine. No size, no moralizing, just technical specs. Biometrics, code 3, combo card in July, reasonable. Interview in December, standard. Then she tapped the Madrid itinerary and looked at me with an "I have seen this movie before" face. And then, the most boring, nuclear truth. "So I can kill the case? You can withdraw your support. No need to allege fraud. Keep it clinical. Repercussions for me? If she never becomes a permanent resident, your I-864 never activates. You are clear. Send the withdrawals to the service center on the I-797 and to the local field office. Include names and A numbers, receipt numbers, a concise statement, and a notarized signature." She leaned back exactly 1 inch. "Do not write a manifesto," she said. I wrote 1 paragraph, deleted 3 adjectives, then deleted the last one just in case. What was left sounded like a parking sign. Perfect. I retained Ms. Marlowe. She was an immigration attorney who measured time in dates and receipt numbers. I paid $250 for the consult and a $1,500 flat fee for drafting and routing. No, let us see. I do not haggle with breakups or lawyers. The guy who tries a DIY break job to save $100 ends up with a funeral and good catering. I signed the fee agreement and scanned it into a folder named Off-Ramp. "Brooke, why are you suddenly asking for exact dates and receipts?" "Me, just tightening up the binder for the interview. The lawyer said a clean timeline makes it faster." "Brooke, it feels like a lot." "Me, I know. I am just getting everything in one folder, so we are not scrambling later. If there is a trip, I am labeling it work or personal." "Brooke, it is a networking thing." "Me, perfect. I will mark it as work. Can you forward the confirmation so I can file it properly? If there is an invitation or agenda, I will attach that too." "Brooke, a friend helped with the booking." "Me, understood. I will put him down as a contact. If your team is reimbursing, just drop the email in the folder and I will pair it up." "Brooke, do you need all this tonight?" "Me, no, zero rush. Whenever you have time. I just want the binder to be neat so the officer does not get stuck on us." My lawyer emails me a template that is a work of art, like a socket wrench, precise, useful, unemotional. A subject line like a guillotine. Petitioner's withdrawal of Form I-130. Concurrent withdrawal of Form I-864. Request for administrative closure of related Form I-485. Her email came with 2 attachments and 0 emojis. If you have never felt the cold comfort of competence, it is a PDF with correct margins. She even included pre-filled shipping labels with the right USCIS PO boxes. It felt like holding a fire extinguisher that actually works. I do not tell Brooke. We go back to talking about chores. We become roommates with a customer service tone. "Did you run the dishwasher?" "Yes." "Full cycle." "Are you using the car on Friday?" "No. I will take a lift." I never said lawyer. She never said Gavin. We both played dumb like it was a sport. Meanwhile, I do the boring work that saves you later. I went with boring and surgical. I separated finances and removed her as an authorized user. Amex. I froze my credit and opened a new checking account. I downloaded all bank statements and documented the apartment with time-stamped photos and video. I saved the lease and utilities in a folder called Evidence. I exported texts and the shared calendar. I changed emergency contacts. I changed beneficiaries. I removed saved logins on shared devices. I exported photos from the cloud. I revoked app permissions. I turned off location sharing. I rotated 2 FA tokens and disabled keychain sync on her old laptop. I screenshotted every settings page with the timestamp visible. Boring wins. Courthouses love boring. So do landlords, banks, and anyone who bills by the hour. Amex made me answer 3 security questions that felt like therapy. At the branch, the banker slid a laminated diagram across the desk like a diner menu. Joint account versus authorized user versus primary account holder. I picked the option that did not require her signature. He printed a confirmation with the last 4 digits redacted, which is corporate for, "We respect your boundaries and your trauma." I walked out with a piece of paper that said effective today. Closure looks like toner. I froze my credit at all 3 bureaus and stuck a sticky note on my monitor. Document. Do not debate. The plan was simple. All push, no theater. I prepared 2 notarized originals. One to the USCIS Service Center, per the I-130 receipt. One to the local field office, per the interview letter. Each packet included copies of the I-797, the marriage certificate, and a 1-line kill switch. I am withdrawing my I-130 prior to adjudication and withdrawing my I-864. Please close any associated I-485. This decision is final and voluntary. Then I sent them and let the machine do its work. Ms. Marlowe prints on firm letterhead. FedEx with signature confirmation. Cross-referenced tracking numbers. The notary at the UPS store had a stamp that sounded like a gavel. She looked at my ID, looked at me, and said, "Big day." I said, "Paperwork day." She nodded like we had just shared a meditation. A rectangular stamp. Later, my signature had become a legal object. Behavior at home. Neutral face. New AIC filter. No announcements. Prepare loose ends. List of utilities, landlord process, balances and pay stubs, IRA contributions. The plan was not to fight. The plan was to not be surprised. I changed the air filter because petty is leaving someone a clean apartment and a final denial. I also took pictures of everything. The couch, the scuffed baseboard, the stain on the carpet shaped like Florida. Evidence wins disputes before they start. September 16th, packets mailed. September 19th, delivery confirmed at both addresses. Ms. Marlowe, all filings received. Now we let the machine do its thing. I tracked those FedEx numbers like stock tickers. Departed FedEx hub. Memphis. I had never loved Memphis so much. When the status flipped to delivered, I took a screenshot, exported the proof of delivery PDF, and dropped it in the folder like a coin in a vending machine. Select 1. Consequences. Waiting on bureaucracy has its own kind of nausea. She is still planning mad. I signed up for USPS informed delivery like I was joining a little league. Every morning, the grayscale previews would arrive. Junk mail, coupons. Then, a government issue rectangle, warming up in the bullpen. On her screen, I saw an open tab, best rooftops in Madrid. On mine, 8 CFR section 245.2, A2. We were living in different movies with the same Wi-Fi password. Me. Best rooftops in Madrid, huh? Brooke, just a saved tab. Travel blogs are my brain candy. Me. Nice views. Brooke, it is for a networking thing. Might be Madrid, might not. Very TBD. Me. Company trip? Brooke, more like alumni adjacent. It is a long story. Me. Okay. If it firms up, send me the invite, and I will file it with the other documents. Brooke, it is mostly over WhatsApp. I will grab it later. My phone is at like 2%. Me. Whenever. No rush. Brooke, yeah, it is nothing. Just research. I Alt-Tab back to 8 CFR, jotted evidence dependent in my notes, and let the silence end the conversation. October 7th, the USCIS envelope arrived. I opened it, read the line that mattered. I-130 withdrawn, I-485 denied, and checked the task off as done. I did not celebrate. I filed it, breathed, and changed nothing about my routine. That is discipline, not denial. I had my coffee, updated a task, and set a reminder to remove her from my dental insurance at noon. If you need confetti to believe a decision is real, you are not ready to make it. I prefer the kind of finality that fits in a manila folder. I removed her from my benefits under qualifying life event and just sat there for a minute. 2 days later, a second denial notice came. I filed them both, took a quick photo for the log, and moved on with my day. Door closed quietly, no victory lap. A week later, HR calls her out to the balcony. Our shared calendar still showed mad. It changed to canceled by organizer with no comment. Still, her phone vibrated, the kind of phantom reminder you cannot turn off. Then, a flat voice. You withdrew the petition. It no longer has a sponsor. I could hear the HR rep's cadence through the sliding door. That corporate blend of empathy and policy. We understand this is difficult. Translation. We read the manual. Her laptop flashed, session expired. Meanwhile, my coffee tasted like closure. I could hear the HR rep's cadence through the sliding door, that corporate blend of empathy and policy. We understand this is difficult. Translation. We read the manual. Her laptop flickered. SSO session expired. Meanwhile, my coffee tasted like closure. She slid the door shut with a shove like it owed her money and put her phone face down so hard the case popped off. Eyes, pupils, tight jaw? You did this. I nodded at the 2 envelopes on the counter. The petition no longer has a sponsor. You dropped me with no warning. I sent a notarized withdrawal with tracking and receipt. That is not dropping. That is certified. You ruined my life. I did not defund it. She grabbed the denial letter and read the one line twice like she could blink it away. You knew I needed this. I knew I needed honesty. You put mad on our shared calendar and let another man buy your ticket. We were on a break. We were not. And even if we were, a break does not include international flights on someone else's credit card. I was not going to sleep with him. You bought lingerie and took pictures in our bathroom. She flinched like the tile remembered. You invaded my privacy. She paced in short circles, hands on her head, breathing like someone who just finished a sprint they did not train for. You could have talked to me. I did. You said networking. HR. They just confirmed the kind of network that actually matters. The laptop pinged again. Access revoked. Please contact your administrator. She looked at it. Then she looked at me. Undo it. You can fix this. Call them. Tell them it was a mistake. It was not. So that is it. You gave up on us. I withdrew my consent. The government agreed. That is the full sentence. She swallowed, got smaller, and tried one last angle. This is cruel. Cruel would have been letting you sit in a waiting room under fluorescent lights while an officer asks us about our IKEA couch, and then stamping denied in your face. I chose paper over theater. Silence. The AC hummed like it was trying not to take sides. I slid a single sheet across the counter. Headings, checkboxes, blank spaces. Exit checklist. Bedroom is yours until the end of the month. Keys, utilities, clean bathroom, sign on return. She looked at the sheet like I had insulted her. You are a spreadsheet with legs. I am a boundary. She put the denial letter down carefully, took off her ring, and set it next to the salt shaker. I hope you are happy. I am consistent. She did not cry. She did not yell. She signed the bottom of the checklist like it hurt, pushed the pen back, and then picked up her phone for a call I was not on. Through the glass, I heard that tone again, the mix of empathy and policy. I rinsed my mug and let the water run until it was cold. Calm winds. 2 days later, she left a voicemail at noon. No theater. I am sorry. I was stupid. I do not want Madrid. I want my marriage. Please, tell them it was a mistake. I saved the audio, exported the transcript to log/closure, and left the papers untouched. No fights. I gave her the bedroom until the end of the month and a checklist for keys, utilities, and cleaning. Consequences over catharsis. I am not debating my consent. One rule. Bedroom until month's end. Utilities in order. Do not touch my desk. One day she threw constructive abandonment at me, and the next, marital fiduciary duties, which is bold coming from someone who was pricing tapas on a third party's Amex. I repeated the same line. The petition no longer has a sponsor. It is amazing how fast arguments die when you cut off their power source. She texts me from 10 feet away. I need to think. I deadlift until the brain comedy quiets down. Later, she is on the phone rapid fire in her native language. It sounds like pleading. Not my circus. Gym rule. Heavy weight, quiet mind. I added plates like I was loading a decision. By the time I racked the bar, the only thing I wanted to text back was a screenshot of 8 CFR. I did not, because I still respect typography. The combo card result is not dramatic. Once USCIS denies the I-485, the linked AD/AP is no longer valid for continued employment or travel. HR flags it. Note: CBP will not honor advance parole when the I-485 is no longer pending. She cancels Madrid as a work emergency. Gavin sends texts in Morse code made of heart emojis. A cancellation email mistakenly arrived in our shared inbox. Refund notice. Funds will be returned to the original payment method. Translation: ask Gavin. She forwarded it to herself and deleted the original. I restored it from the shared trash to log/travel. Paper is not embarrassed. People are. Her Slack icon went gray midweek. Even her avatar started the offboarding process. A doc she had created was now owned by anonymous armadillo in the edit history. Nothing says off the payroll like a zoo animal in the change log. The company laptop went to the full screen by Felicia and prompted for shipping labels. She pouted at the box like it insulted her resume. Gavin sent 3 voice notes that sounded like a perfume commercial. I muted the thread I was not supposed to know about. Friday night was takeout and a spreadsheet. Facts reimburse, feelings do not. I itemized deposits, shared purchases, and the apartment's tchotchkes. If she started an argument, I would point to the cell with the formula. C14. That is your blender. The spreadsheet as referee. No one likes it. Everyone accepts it. Offboarding email from HR. Access suspended. Payroll stopped. Equipment return. Note: Cobra. Reapply if status changes. Policy first. She tried to argue the word immediately. HR replied with the phrase, compliance requirements. That phrase is a guillotine in a necktie. It gets cold. Packing becomes neat and frantic. Most of what she packs is from our "we are a team" phase. She saved our concert stubs in a shoebox like evidence from a kind crime. I kept the tools and the air fryer. She took the plants, which was fair. They liked her better. The Monstera never respected my leadership. End of October. She asked for 2 extra weeks. I scheduled a move-out inspection and sent a calendar invite titled Inspection. She declined it. The landlord accepted it in 7 seconds. Policy does not lose. I say yes, with conditions. Close any utilities in her name, return keys, empty the bedroom, clean the bathroom. List keep adults from acting like raccoons. Friends respond according to their brand. Couple friends. We are here if you need anything. Her best friend again calls me a spreadsheet with legs, but politely. My best friend gets a photo of the denial notice and replies with a Judge Judy gif. The group chat splits like a cell in a lab. Half empathy, half TED Talk on international love. One guy tried to quote a podcast. I sent him a link to the USCIS page and told him the podcast could sue me. The conversation ended on time, like a good meeting. Her mother calls from overseas. I do not answer. She texts her mother, "Call me now? You need to fix this." Her mother, "You are ruining her future. Be a man and undo your letter." Me, I withdrew my petition. It is my right as the petitioner. The decision is final. Her mother, "Our family will not accept this. We will escalate." Me, "Do not contact me again on this matter. Any further messages will be archived." It is 1:43 a.m. when the knock comes. It is not frantic or polite. It is that drunk, entitled confidence, like the door owes it an audience. I do not rush. Calm wins. I finish my tea, rinse the mug, and open it like I am checking the weather. Brooke's there. Hair uncombed, eyes glossy, lipstick on like she is trying to remember what it felt like to be adored. Her posture says runway. Her breath says minibar. "I need to talk," she slurs. I step aside without a word. I let her in like a ghost looking for its old room. She scans the place like she still owns it. Her mug, her mirror, her plants. Except the Monstera is gone. Replaced by a snake plant that does not care who waters it. You change the furniture. Some of it. I say, leaving out that I sold the bed frame on Craigslist 2 days after filing for divorce. She throws her purse on the couch like it is hers. "You ruined my life." I do not reply, not out of guilt, but because silence is the only thing that matches the volume of that statement. She keeps talking. "Gavin ghosted me. After all that." She laughs, a dry, cracked sound. "I flew across the Atlantic for that man. He told me he loved me." I know. The email landed in the shared inbox she forgot to unlink. Forwarded by mistake. I moved it to a folder called log/closure_Gavin. Subject: legal concerns. Brooke, my legal team has advised me to cease all contact with you immediately. Your situation presents too much of a reputational and immigration risk. My family has also urged me to detach from anything tied to your current marital status. This is final. Please do not reply. He said his lawyer told him I was radioactive. She says, blinking fast, like it could erase the words. Like I am a liability. You were married to someone else while sending him shirtless countdowns, I say. She paces. You did this. You are punishing me. I am protecting myself. You could have waited. Help me stay. You knew how much I needed this. You do not have a right to citizenship, I say, crossing my arms. Or my consent. Her voice gets sharp. You are a machine. A spreadsheet with legs. I slide a folder across the table. The label reads, Divorce Packet, filed October 2nd. Inside, a copy of the petition, a copy of the waiver, her signature line highlighted, a sticky note on top, sign and return. I am not signing that, she snaps. Yes, you will, I say. If there is no response by 10 a.m. on the first Monday after 20 days from service, I will file for default judgment after the 60-day waiting period. I have already documented service. She opens the packet like it might explode. You already filed. Uncontested dissolution. Filed no fault on grounds of insupportability. Processed in the county where we were married. Archived in a folder named Closure. Are you serious? I nod. I am consistent. She looks like she is going to throw something. She does not. She is learning. Instead, she pulls a ring out of her purse, mine, and slams it on the table. Here is your closure. No. I pick it up with 2 fingers and drop it into a clear evidence bag. I seal it. I already made my peace with that, I say. She sits down like her bones have finally accepted the end of her story. I have nothing left. I shrug gently. You had options. You just did not choose any that did not revolve around you. She glares at me. And you are perfect now. No, but I am free. Her eyes land on the mail on the counter. An envelope from the county clerk's office. Another from USCIS, already opened. A handwritten card with flowers on it that says, Coffee next week? She grabs it. You are already dating someone. I take it back gently. You are unbelievable. No, I am rebuilding. The next morning, she is still here, passed out on the couch. I leave her a glass of water and a printed itinerary for a one-way flight back to her home country. Whose card she booked it on, and how was her business? Redemption via logistics. The note on top. Flight at 8:35 p.m., Terminal 1. Passport required. Dress warm. This is your soft landing. I leave it next to the signed divorce packet. She filled it out sometime near dawn. Her handwriting is shaky but complete. People do not argue with gravity forever. At the airport, I do not go inside. I wait in the car like I am running a familiar errand. She drags her suitcase to the curb, still dressed like someone who thought this was a detour, not a dead end. She looks around. No welcome party, no Gavin, no sympathy. She boards without looking back. I do not wave, I do not smile. I just confirm the boarding status on my phone and move the final folder to the archive. That night, after she has returned the keys and fully moved out, I change the locks. Not out of spite, but routine. The locksmith offers me a military-grade deadbolt. I say yes. He hands me 2 keys. One goes on my keyring. The other is for someone new. Not a rebound. A real person who knows how to pronounce respect. She laughs at my calendar habits and brings fresh coffee with sticky notes that say things like, "You are not a robot." I keep them in the drawer where Brooke kept passwords. Brooke's story ends with a re-entry denial, a flag status, and a flat in Madrid where no one answers her texts. Gavin moves on. Maybe he was always moving on. The playlist stops updating. The Venmo goes quiet. A year after all that chaos, life is boring in the best way. I work, I lift, I fix what squeaks, and I actually sleep. I started seeing Leah. She shows up early, keeps her own place, and sends receipts, not drama. We make dumplings on park benches. She takes out the trash on my pre-trash day without reminders. She makes fun of my playlist. I fix her crooked shelf. No love bombing, no future faking every 5 minutes. Just 2 adults with calendars that are not a trap. I keep my promises, to myself first, then to her. Separate finances, clean routines, clear boundaries. My apartment runs like a checklist. Oil changes logged, filters changed, passwords rotated. Peace is not exciting, it is repeatable. I had forgotten how good repeatable feels. Weekends look like hardware store runs, farmers markets, then finishing the boring tasks my past self ignored. I drink water, stretch, schedule the dentist, and leave early for flights. Leah thrives in the same lane. She shows up prepared, leaves on time, comes back with solutions, not speeches. We take pictures for us, not the feed. I am not chasing adrenaline anymore. Comment. Hey everyone. The real lesson here isn't about getting even, but about reclaiming your peace. It takes incredible courage to set a boundary and choose your own well-being, especially when it is painful. This story reminds us that a life built on honesty and mutual respect is far more valuable than one built on convenience. Ultimately, protecting your integrity isn't selfish. It's the necessary foundation for building the happy, authentic future you truly deserve. If you like the stories, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.